Well, the Rolex Shanghai Masters is finally here, and it's a special time of year because it's not too often on this tour we get to see the ATP players playing on an actual, legit, certified, fast court. Last year, the Roger Federer fans were disappointed when it finally got to this point of the year where everyone felt like Roger would have an edge over other players due to the quickness of this surface. But it turned out Roger completely lost control of one of his biggest weapons of all, his forehand. So it was a struggle despite making the semifinals, eventually losing to Borna Coric. Andy Murray, who had some glory here in Shanghai back in 2016 when he got to number one in the world, had been building on some momentum going into this tournament and did get a win, but is now out. And of course, we'll talk about some of the controversy from that match with Fabio Fognini. And meanwhile, Novak Djokovic back after winning in Tokyo, defending champion, but he's talking about one player that he's a little bit wary of. Guess who that might be? Today on Coffee Break Tennis, we'll look through the draw a little bit and see how things are shaping up already after a couple days of play. Andy Murray gets really mad and tells Fabio Fognini to shut up. Shut up, mate. And I'm with him. He should have told Fabio to shut up. Also, Novak Djokovic, wary of an ATP next-gen player. No, it's not Roger. Maybe your guess was Roger Federer. That's not who he's worried about, according to this tennishead.net article. And if we got time for it, Mats Wilander mouthed off again and said some silly stuff about why watching women's tennis is much more fun than watching men's tennis because Roger, Rafa, and Djoker have made it boring. All that and nicht mehr on Heutetagen's Coffee Break Tennis. So the Patron Saints were treated to a Patron Saint podcast yesterday where I talked about Andy Murray's first match here at Shanghai, his only win in Shanghai. And I talked about how fast the court was playing. And I put up some numbers. I gotta say, I nailed it. Let's look at the stats from Roger Federer's win today. Let's look at some numbers from Roger Federer's win today. I have them on the phone. This is very high tech. I know the environmentalist tennis fans out there are saying, why don't you put everything on the phone? Well, they can't crumple up the phone and volley it away. And that would be way less fun for me and for the viewer. And we have maximum consideration here at Coffee Break Tennis for the viewer. So Roger Federer, like I predicted, on this fast surface, you have to take advantage of your first serve. Who is better at that on tour than Roger Federer? Maybe one of the big monster servers out there. I don't know. I take Roger. 91% win on first serve. 80% first serves in. Roger Federer taking advantage of the fastness of the court. No doubt. 64% win on second serve. That is great. Another thing I predicted was Roger Federer would hit. I said, if Andy Murray can come up with 10 aces in 3 sets, because he won in 3 in his first match, Roger Federer will get about 10 in 2 sets. And he got 8. Which rounds up to 10, as the mathematicians out there know. But this is the number I said was kind of important, especially on a fast serve. How many serves can you get back in play and give yourself a chance? And I said the magic number seems to be 70%. The average serve on this fast court, the Gegner, the enemies, your opponent, they get it back 70% of the time. Your first serve, it goes in, it comes back 70% of the time. 30% of the time, the person misses, or you hit an ace, or they hit it out of the stadium. That doesn't happen too often. Usually they'll hit it in the net or a little wide, a little long, something like that. Well, I said 70% is the magic number, and Roger Federer will likely hold his opponent below that. The opponent to Roger Federer on this fast court will get less than 70% of his serves back in play, and Roger will do better. So against Juan Ignacio Londero, who Roger Federer beat in his first match at the Cincinnati, last time we had a Masters 1000, he won and then lost in the next match. Well, now Andy Murray's done the same thing. Beat Londero, lost his follow-up match. But in that match against Londero, Murray was about 72 or 3% of his serves came back in play. He would like to have that number lower, but what he did to make up for it, more than make up, was he got Londero's serve back into play 85% of the time. And excuse me, I've been saying first serve. These numbers are for all serves, first and second combined. So let's take a look. I predicted Roger Federer would hold his opponent below 70 and Federer would be well above 70, and he sure did take care of business in that department. Ramos Vinolas only able to get 62%, well under 70% of the Roger Federer first and second serves combined back in the play, while Roger Federer got a stunning 81% back. I shouldn't say stunning. We expect the excellence sometimes. And finally, one of the things we will see, we see Roger Federer do this kind of stuff all the time on every surface. He's always playing offensive. He's always looking to come into net, but it's going to be even easier on the fastest court of the whole year here at the Shanghai Masters. Roger Federer with 32 winners, 31 unforced errors, coming in the net 21 times and winning 17 of those. 4 years ago, Roger Federer lost to Ramos Vinolas, despite as we've seen many times with Roger Federer losses, winning more points. 7 more points, I think, was the official number. Losing despite winning 7 more points than the opponent. Well, this time around, Roger Federer won like 20 more points. So that definitely makes sure you get the W. But we were told at the beginning of this tournament that this was a very tough draw for Roger Federer. In fact, I even saw on Twitter some Federer fans saying, I don't think Roger Federer will have a chance to win here. That draw, just too tough. But one of the things we've heard Federer say that is a factor, no doubt, is that the back is feeling great. He feels 100% again. He did not feel that way at the U.S. Open. Roger Federer lets you know more about the injuries a couple months later or a month later. And Roger Federer is saying he's 100% now. So that's a factor, and it certainly looked like it in his win over Ramos Vinolas. So we look at the draw, put the draw on the screen in the Federer quarter. Likely going to play David Goffin next. Then possibly could meet with maybe Rublev. Would love some revenge after losing to Rublev in Cincinnati. Millman, Shardy are around. I'm not convinced Sasha Zverev comes through Shardy. Because another thing we talked about in the Patron Saint podcast yesterday was if you watched the tournament in Beijing, the ATP 500 from last week, you saw Sasha Zverev was taking the confidence of whatever happened at Laver Cup, the pep talk. Who could forget the pep talk? Take a listen.
And every point you lose, doesn't matter, no one negative face. Now with the problems when you don't have the season one.
Roger and Rafa pumping him up saying, no more negative face, Rafa said. And Sasha Zverev in Beijing was playing pretty well. It looked like, wow, maybe he took that to heart, playing way better. I saw a funny, if I have it, I'll put it on the screen. I might not be able to find it, but Troll Tennis, they're out there. They're a Twitter and an Instagram thing. They put some funny pictures and stuff like that up. They said, breaking news alert, Sasha Zverev, less than 2 double faults in a match, or only 2 double faults in a match today, something like that. Significant, less double faults, just playing better, more confident on the forehand. Very big, aggressive first serves. I mean, that's never been a problem, but looked even more confident. Then he got to Tsitsipas in the semifinals. Had a great start, up a break, 3 set points in a row. Lost all of them. Obliterates his racket. Sasha Zverev just smashes his racket. Tsitsipas wins the match in straight sets. All of the new confidence, we could say, we shall see, may be gone. Hopefully not for the young man Sasha Zverev, but Jeremy Chardy on a fast court. The guy's got some firepower. Maybe Sasha Zverev runs into trouble. If not, Federer will play Sasha Zverev in the quarterfinals. One of the reasons why they said this draw would be tough for Federer is because Marin Cilic, a Grand Slam champion, awaited him in the first match. But Marin Cilic did not make it to that first match. It was Ramos Vinolas. Roger Federer now leads that head-to-head 2-1 over Ramos Vinolas. They were 1-1. So that's nice for Roger Federer to get a winning head-to-head against someone he was tied with. Of course, Dominic Thiem, who beat Tsitsipas in a match that looked like Tsitsipas could win. Tsitsipas won the first set and had a break advantage in the second set in Beijing. In the final, Dominic Thiem, though, hunkered down, played very tough, played smart, big shots, as we know he can do, ran all over the court, looked like an Iron Man. We've seen him look a little ginger in the last few months. His year hasn't been as good since the run to the finals of the French Open. Dominic Thiem looks like he is back. That is a tough draw from Roger Federer, but that's a potential semifinal. Let's look at Djokovic's half of the draw really quick. Djokovic plays Shapo, who's a little bit dangerous if Shapo has a lucky hot day. Maybe John Isner, not fun to play at your second match on a fast court with that monster serve and the big, John Isner goes really big on his forehand and backhand. One of the fastest courts we saw this year was Miami, where John Isner made the final. And of course, Roger Federer won. Hurkacz is there and Tsitsipas is there. And then the most important thing is Medvedev. So let's cut ahead to what Djokovic said about Medvedev, and then we'll talk about that stuff that Andy Murray said. Here's Djokovic talking in his pre-tournament press conference about Medvedev. The last several months, he's been playing the tennis of his life, says Djokovic on Danny Medvedev. He's played finals at least in every event in the last, 5-6 events. It's amazing. He's improved his movement, his fitness. He's got the big serve. He's got the height. He uses angles very well. The backhand, it's hard to break that backhand. It's very flat. It's kind of like what Djokovic does. He doesn't make many mistakes. He can hit anything he wants from the corners. Forehand, maybe he has been the weaker side, but now that he's improved it, he's a very complete player. The headline, this is from tennishead.net, is Novak Djokovic wary of next-gen stars rise. Now, maybe that's a little bit of opinion there. Maybe that's from the Tennis Head. That's just their opinion. But Djokovic should be a little wary of him because remember, last time we were at a Masters 1000, Cincinnati, what happened? I remember sitting with a bunch of people saying, this is boring, Djokovic is going to win, of course. And then we were all shocked when Medvedev beat the Joker. So if I'm Djokovic and I hear all this, Federer's got the toughest draw like ever in history, I'm thinking to myself, what about my draw? I'd rather play Zverev than Tsitsipas. I got to play Tsitsipas potentially. We'll see. Tsitsipas plays tomorrow against the guy he's never beat. Of course, that's FAA, Felix Auger-Aliassime. If you had fun in that brief moment, they're wondering, who is it? Did you know? Did you not know? You might enjoy tennis trivia. Really quick, down below in the description of this video, there is a link. Go there so you can register. It is free. And when you do it, when you register for Tennis Con 3's trivia nights, we're going to do 4 nights of trivia, each one around a different major. The Aussie Open, the French Open, Wimbledon, the US Open. When you sign up for a free ticket, you get a $10 gift card to Tennis Express automatically. You would have to be a fool not to sign up for this. So click the link down below. You will get a $10 gift card to Tennis Express. You will have free access to Tennis Con 3, which is only 2 weeks away. And you'll be in on all 4 live trivia shows that me and Peter Freeman from Crunchtime Coaching will be putting on. And word is, the French Open, the second major, so the second trivia night, because we go in order just like the majors, will be hosted and sponsored by Babolat. What are the nice people at Babolat going to do for us? Well, I can't make any promises, but I know they're going to give away some awesome prizes, some Babolat prizes like bags, rackets. Rumor is, again, I don't want to promise this, but I've heard there's a possibility the winner of French Open trivia night will get one of Rafa's rackets, a racket that he actually played with, certified, everything. So that could be pretty cool for you. Click the link down below in the not the comment section, above the comment section, in the description of this video. Sign up for Tennis Con 3. Become a better tennis player if you are a tennis player. If you're not a tennis player and you don't care so much about getting better, do it for the trivia night. 4 nights of trivia, awesome prizes from Crunchtime Coaching, and of course on French Open night, awesome prizes from Babolat. Anyway, so back to it. Tsitsipas does have to go through Felix Auger-Aliassime. Could be tricky for him. He hasn't beat him yet, juniors or on the ATP Tour, which is kind of weird. You would think he'd be able to get him once out of all their meetings, but no. Maybe a mental thing. So if Tsitsipas can get past that hurdle, Djokovic could play him, and Djokovic could play Medvedev. So we'll see if Djokovic is really wary. We'll see if Djokovic is really 100%. He looked great in Tokyo, but the biggest challenge he faced was Go Soida, the Japanese guy, Go Soida. No offense to Soida, he played a great match, but that was as stiff as the competition got for Djokovic. So we'll see. We'll see how things really are when Djokovic plays someone like a Tsitsipas or a Medvedev. All right, we're running out of time. Last thing here. Maybe we'll do Mats Wilander too, but Angry Murray. You know, you hear it here first. If you were a Patron Saint podcast, you said, I know Murray's for real because he's angry now. And I called him Angry Murray. And what do you know? Here's an article with the headline, Angry Murray, the next day. Always happens here first, folks. A fuming Angry Murray accused Fabio Fognini of shouting during a critical point as the Briton went down fighting in 3 bitter sets at the Shanghai Masters on Tuesday. I saw this match. It was interesting. Basically, Murray had a pretty easy put away on top of the net, and somebody yells, and it looks like it's Fabio Fognini, and Andy Murray shoots a look at Fabio Fognini saying, like, what are you doing? You know, that's hindrance. You can't scream at me while I'm putting away a shot. And Fabio Fognini says, what are you looking at? Don't look at me. And then Murray gets very angry. Let's read the quotes exactly in case I misremember any of it. I was just about to hit a shot, mate, and someone made a noise, and he told me to stop looking at him. The sound came from him, which you're not allowed to do. It's against the rules, mate. It's hindrance. You shouldn't do it. Fabio wants to engage me. I probably shouldn't have done it, but I'm not having him talk to me like that on the court, mate. The best part was Andy Murray is trying to talk to Fabio, and then Fergus Murphy, chair umpire, is like, Andy, don't talk to him. Don't worry. I'll handle it. Let me handle it. And Andy's like, let me tell you what happened, mate. Let me tell you what happened. And then he starts explaining to him what happened. It should have been hindrance. And then Fabio Fognini comes across and says something. And Andy Murray looks at him and says, shut up, mate. And he said mate like 10 times. I'm not even kidding. Usually I say that doing the Kyrgios voice. But Murray said mate a lot. That's when you know he's really angry, when he keeps saying mate. Murray went on to say that I want to say this is the first time ever in my career that this has happened. He served for the match 2 times. It hurts, but hey, overall, I'm pretty happy for Andy Murray. I'm excited to watch him. He's playing more aggressive than ever, maybe because he doesn't want to get involved in the long defensive battles. I think in this match, he was running around too much, playing too far back. I think he should have been more offensive-minded against Fabio Fognini, but I guess the strategy going in is, hey, Fabio's a hothead, play a little more defensive and make Fabio play, and maybe he'll start missing, and he'll lose control of his game and maybe of himself as well. A couple Federer quotes on the bottom of this. Federer says, the truth, yeah, let's think about it. Watch the highlights. Sounds like Andy Murray. remember how it felt. I had my chances. I won many more points than I lost, so I should have actually won that match. Talking about last time Federer played him. Hit the music, we're getting out of here. Last time Federer played Ramos Vinolas, he should have won the match. He won more points than he lost, and he didn't, so he's admitting, yes, there was some revenge on his mind today. Always fun when the players let us know the truth, what's going on in the head. All right, for the patron saints, we will be back tomorrow to talk about Djokovic's first match, talk about Tsitsipas and FAA, Felix Auger, all day, Aliassime. Talk about all that stuff on the podcast for the patron saints tomorrow. If you're not a patron saint, go to patreon.com/Coffee Break Tennis. Be a part of Coffee Break Tennis. Help the show go and grow. It's very affordable, very cheap, only a couple dollars a month. $2 a month. That's less than you spend on coffee, for sure. Like, I spend more than that every day. That will get you into the show tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll be back in 2 days. What is today? Tuesday? We'll be back on Donnerstag. Look it up if you don't know what that means. And we'll be back then on YouTube. See ya!